All right, let's get started with our unit test for trigonometry of PreCalculus. Let's go. Here's the first question. The function ET models the daily electrical output in kilowatt hours from the solar panels on this person's home, Agnes's home on the 10th day of the year. Okay, so here's the function that models daily electric output. So on 10th day of the year, which means that on when t equals 1, it means the first day, when t equals 2, the second, and so on and so forth. What does this solution set for y is equals to this thing represent? Now, this is one specific value. There is no t here. Therefore, I can safely say that the set of all days will not be an answer because this corresponds to one specific value. And now we have to see whether this fits with the minimum or maximum daily electrical output of the solar panel. We have to check what value this is. So this is 36.5. Okay, now our equation 36.5, what do we have at 36.5? There we go. It is the maximum. As you can see, it's the peak. So therefore it will be the maximum daily electrical output for the solar panels. All right, on the following unit circle, theta is in radians. Okay, without a calculator, evaluate the following expression to the nearest hundred. Okay, so in order to calculate trigonometric ratio like sine, cos, and tan without using calculator, there is a useful table that we can use. So I am creating it here, and we will use it throughout the unit test. Is very helpful. So once we make the table, it makes our life easy, and we can just follow the table, and then from there we can just find the value. So it starts from 0, then 30, followed by followed by 45, followed by 60, followed by 90. Okay, so these values are in degrees, so degree, and we can also include the radians as well, which is 0. This is pi by 2, pi by 2. Okay, 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, pi by 2. So this will be pi by 4 because 90 divided by 2 is 45, so pi by 4. 30 will be pi by 6 because 30 times 180 is 1/6, so pi by 6. And 60 will be pi by 3 because 60 is 1/3 of 180, so pi by 3. Okay, so now we can find the value of, we memorize the value of sine theta, and from that we can find cos and tan. We'll see how. We know that sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is 1 by 2, and 45, sine 45 is 1 by root 2, and sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and sine 90 is 1. And now cos will be just the opposite of that. So we'll just copy and paste from here and in the opposite order. So 1, and then sine 30 would be cos 30 would be the sine 60, cos 40, sine 45 and cos 45 is the same, and sine 60 will be the same as cos 60 will be the same as sine 30, and sine 90 will be the same as cos 90 will be the same as sine 0, so 0. Okay, and now tan is basically sine divided by cos, we know. So this thing divided by this thing is 0. And half divided by root 3 by 2 is 1 by root 3, is 1 by root 3. Okay, and they are the same. We divide when we divide the same thing with the same thing, it's 1. And here it is just the reciprocal of this, so root 3. And here 1 divided by 0 is infinity, so we write infinity and paste it here. There we go, we're done with this table. Now we just need this table to solve without using the calculator about the following expression to the nearest 100. So I want, they've given us theta is in the second quadrant. What is the value of cos pi minus theta, or 180 minus theta? Now we know that in the first quadrant all trigonometric ratio is positive. Here we have sine positive, everything else negative. Here tan positive, everything else is negative, and cos is positive, everything else is negative. Now cos pi minus theta, so if this is the theta with the basing angle, so pi minus theta is basically telling you to go in the second quadrant. And as you can see here, cos was positive and here it became negative. So basically whenever you subtract theta from pi, you're flipping the cos value. So here the cos value is the adjacent one. If this is the theta, cos value is this thing, which is the x-axis. So which means that this would be 0.42, the reverse of that. And when you add 2 pi, you just you just reach the same place by rotating 360 degrees, so it doesn't change. So it remains to be the same as what you have here, negative 0.42. Yeah, the table is not required here, but it will be required in the future problems, hopefully. So a billiard ball starts 86 centimeter from the corner pocket as shown. The ball rolls 120 centimeter in another direction, hits a rail, and rolls another 100 centimeter to the pocket. What is the angle between the pads before and after the pad hits the rail? So this question mark. Do not run your calculations during your calculations. Round or final answer to the nearest degree. Okay, how do you calculate this? We want to the nearest degree, so we can use the cosine rule. Okay, so if we want this angle, we can write that cos inverse of, we can write that cos theta or cos this thing is equal to this the one that we are trying to find. We will subtract that, so 100 square. Okay, so let me write it here. 100 square, and then we have 120 square, 100 square plus 120 square, and then minus 86 square, so 86 square. Okay, now all of that upon 2 into 100 into 120. Now we know that this is the cos theta. I mean, this is the cosine rule. Cos theta equals this thing. So which means that cos inverse of this thing is our value. What's wrong? This is the cos theta, 100 square plus um, minus divided by 2 into, so cos theta equals this thing, so cos inverse 0 point something is wrong here. Anyway, we can find cos inverse of this thing here, but here we'll get radians, so um, we can easily convert this into degrees by using this formula. So this is 44.88, or they have stated us to give us in the nearest degrees, so I can say it is 45 degrees. Okay, Isabella is playing with her yo-yo, sorry, the vertical distance y in centimeter between the yo-yo and her hand. 2 seconds after the first spins, after she first spins it out, is modeled by this thing. So this is yo-yo. 2 seconds. Okay. How long does it take the yo-yo to fall all the way down from its peak and then rise up to a vertical distance of negative 80 centimeter? So asking for time, we've found our answer to the nearest tenth of a second. Trigonometry identity. Okay. Okay, so they're giving us this. Why do you need this? We don't need this. Okay, so here we have our function. Now we know that t, this will give us the distance between yo-yo and our hand after shift t seconds. So you want the time. How long does it take to all the way from its peak? So let's see. Where is the peak? Here is the peak, and there I should have a distance of vertical distance of negative 80. So y equals negative 80. So let's zoom in. So it says all the way from its peak and then rise up to, it should fall all the way down from its peak and then rise up to a vertical distance of negative 80, which means not the first time it comes down, but the second time when it is going up. So which means this is the time 2.14, and we can, nearest tenth means 2.1. Okay, point A is on the following unit circle. What are the coordinates of point A? Enter an exact value around to the nearest number. Okay, so coordinate means x-axis, I mean x value and y value. So this is the x value, this is the y value, so xy would be our coordinate. Now we know that this is pi by 6. If that is the case, we know that sine pi by 6 equals opposite, which is y, by hypotenuse. Let's say this is h, and we have cos pi by 6 equals adjacent, which is x, by h. So we know that h is 1 because this is the circle's radius, as you can see here. So if h is 1, basically it's the same as not writing it. And as you can see, x-axis is the basically the cosine of pi by 6. So we'll have to find the cosine of pi by 6 here, and we have to give it in the exact value. So cosine of pi by 6, cos pi by 6, exact value or nearest hundredth. So 1 times 100 is 0.87. And as you can see, the y thing is the same as sine of that. So sine pi by 4. So sine pi by 4 is the y coordinate. Sine pi by 6, not pi by 4. My bad. It is 0.5. So 0.5, because nearest 100 means 50. All right, the followings are on the angle measures in degrees round to the nearest tenth whose cosine is negative. Okay, what is the principal value of inverse sine of this? So sine is negative, which means it is not here, it is here. Now, if you try to draw the graph of sine, which is like this, and we know that the inverse principal value of the inverse sine would lie between negative 90 degree to 90 degree. With that being said, which means it could be either in these two coordinates, and this can't be called here because it is positive. Sine is positive here. Only the way it can be negative here is this value, and these values will not be accepted because they are far beyond the range of negative 90, and they are beyond the range of positive 90. So B would be our answer. Select one or more expressions that together represent all solutions to the equation. Your answer should be in degrees. Assume n is any integer. Okay. Now we have to work on this by bringing negative by bringing 4 this side. So here we have negative 4, negative 4, which means negative 8. So let me write it here, negative 8. And then 8 divided by 8, negative 8 divided by 8 is basically negative 1. Okay, negative 1, as you can see. I want to get rid of those. So now we can find cos inverse of negative 1, negative 1, which is this thing, 3 point this thing. Now we know that 12x is equal to this thing. Okay. Now they told us to find in degrees. Okay, fine. So we have to convert this to degree by dividing with pi, multiplying with 180. So it's 180 degrees. So, yeah. So if it is 180 degree, and it makes sense because cos negative 1, because cos starts from 1, 0, and then negative 1, 0, back to 1. So if it is negative 1, then it's 180 degree. And yeah, so this 12x would be equal to 180 degree then. And now 180 must be divided with 12 in order to get 15. So you would get 15. And now you need the identity for cos. So we know that cos negative theta is equals to cos theta, because here all trigonometry ratio is positive and here cos is positive, so negative theta and cos theta will be the same, and cos theta is theta plus 2 pi is equals to cos theta. So we have to use these identities now. So if we use this identity 2 pi, which is 360, and if we divide that with 12, 360 divided by 12, it is 30. So which means C is one of our answers for one identity. As for the second one, cos negative theta would be the cos of theta. So which means, um, what do we have? We have 15, right? We have 15. Uh, okay, so now 15 is the basic angle. So 180 divided by 12 is 15. So negative of that, I think this is the only solution. Yeah, because cos is negative 1. That can only happen at one, uh, uh, only happen at one instance. So we will get we will get all our answers from only this identity, and we don't have to use this identity. Okay, that's it. For question 8, consider the following expression. Find the exact value of the expression without using a calculator. Now we need this table. So what is 11 pi by 12? We have to find this first. Okay, so 11 pi by 12. We convert this degree, convert the degree by like this, so 165. Um, Now we know that 180 minus 165 is 15. We don't. Do you know that? Do we know this for 15? We don't. We have to find this expression without using a calculator. Okay, here's the trick. Here you can see that uh, they have a same angle. If we treat this one as A, same angle, and this one as B, same angle, what do we get? We can use the formula for cos, the addition or subtraction formula. Cos A minus B equals cos A cos B plus sine A sine B. So which means I can write cos, the entire thing would be equal to cos 11 by pi, this thing minus pi by 6. So this thing minus pi by 6. Okay, so it is 135. Now we just have to find 135, cos 135, and we know that cos 135 is in the second quadrant here, and it's the same as negative cos 45. Negative cos 45, not sine, sorry, 45. Now what is cos 45? Here we can see that cos 45 is 1 upon root 2, and we know that 1 upon root 2 it would be negative, so it is negative 1 upon root 2. Now if we want to rationalize this, we multiply and divide with root 2, so denominator becomes 2, denominator becomes 2 and numerator becomes negative root 2. So A is our answer. Okay, we have to find the following trigonometry values. Express your answer exactly. 5 by 3 pi. So you have to write 5 by 3 pi. So I'm ignoring pi. So this is 300. 5 by 3 pi is 300. So they're asking us to find cos 300. So cos and sine of 300 basically is here in the fourth quadrant. That is the same as, here only cos is positive, so that is cos is the same as cos 60. Okay, cos 300 is same as cos 60, which is half. Here you can see it from the table, but sine would be the negative of that. Sine 60 is the negative of sine 300 is the negative of sine 60, so that's why this would be negative of sine 60. Last question. PT models the distance of a swinging pendulum in centimeter from the place it was released t seconds after it started to swing. Here t is entered in radians. Fine. What is the first time the pendulum reaches 3.5 centimeter from the place it was released? Okay, 107 years. Okay, fine. So we have to check what is the first time when it reaches 3.5. So we can plug in 3.5 here. And now we have to see the first time. Obviously time is positive, so it can't be negative, so we'll have to look in the positive side of the function. What is the first time you have? Oh, my bad, there is no function because I didn't give it x, my bad. So what is the first time? As you can see, it is 0.2. Now they have asked us to find the nearest 100, which means two decimal places. Okay, decimal, tens, 100, two decimal places. Let's see, it is 0.20. Yeah, 0.20. 0.20. And that's it. That is the end for our unit test.